Welcome to the channel. This will be a review on the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Predator 2 Elder Predator, otherwise known as the Greyback. This is the leader of the Lost Clan, and you see the Lost Clan of Predators at the end of Predator 2. Once Harrigan is on their ship, he finally defeats the City Hunter. The Lost Clan appear, and they look set to take him out, and then this guy arrives on the scene, the Elder, and pretty much orders them to stand down, as he is a predator of honor. And there is a fair bit of back story to this guy, and rather than me tell it to you, I'll say just type in into YouTube Elder Predator, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a video called Elder Predator Explained, and it'll give you the back story on how he got the flintlock pistol, and just, really hammers home this is an old school predator who still, operates very much by a code and definitely has honor in his methods. So a very, very cool predator, and always been a fan favorite ever since he made that appearance in Predator 2. Hot Toys have made this guy before in the past, and it was a very, very good piece, but they've definitely improved it with this more updated version. Now, this piece itself is a couple of years old now, but I'm re-reviewing it on the channel because my original review was not happy with the way I shot it. I just don't think it was very good, so I wanted to go back now that I've kind of gotten comfortable with this new setting for reviews and give them the treatment. So I hope you enjoy this review, guys. Let's get started. One thing I was very pleased about with this release was the fact that Hot Toys went back and totally rethought the head. Instead of using the same kind of sculpt that they were using for a good few of their releases, Predator-wise, they went back and actually, totally rethought this and got it looking very movie accurate. If you go back and look at the prototype images that were released by Hot Toys, it's a totally different sculpt. And that was the sculpt that they were reusing a lot. It looked like the same one they used for the City Hunter. But the actual Greyback here, the Elder, I have to go back and check my Stan Winston effect book and get more details for this, during this review. But I do know that the Elder Predator, the Predator we're looking at right now, was basically the original Predator from '87 that had just been reworked and aged. So this is basically what the original Predator would look like once he's an old OG Predator. So we can take a closer look at some of the telltale signs of that during this review, like the fact that all of his armor, his plasma caster, his shoulder armor, his gauntlets, the armor around his legs, his groin, his shins, his knees, is the exact same armor from 1987. And even the face, look at it, it looks like that moment where he sort of leans down and Arnie's laid the trap with the spikes, and he's giving him that look. It's like, I'm onto you, I know what you're doing. So yeah, really interesting. It's basically like looking at an older version of the '87 original Predator. He's even got a kind of a similar kind of skin tone, but this one definitely has more of a kind of bluish, whereas the original Predator was very much kind of based on a banana skin. Sounds silly, but that's what they used as their reference for the color. The Elder here, quite similar, but also slightly different, and just aged. look at some of the similarities between the Elder's armor and the armor worn by the 1987 original Predator, represented here by the NECA 1/4 scale Predator, because I did sell my original Hot Toys 87 Pred in anticipation for a new release coming. So I'm hoping they do that pretty soon. I really would love to see Hot Toys, do a new version of the original Predator. Let's take a look at this armor here. So the shoulder cannon there, the plasma caster, is very much the same kind of design, I think. It's the same look, and also the whole big chunky section on the back there, that seems to be very much the same as the original Predator also. Let's just check the finer details, like stuff like this. Is that the same? Yeah, pretty much. What about the plasma caster itself? It does seem to be very similar. The shoulder armor leading down onto the arm here. Now it doesn't have these sort of pipes or tubing on the Elder, but it is the same armor design, and that is also the same for this armor here, just without the connection tube there. And it does seem to be the same as well. Now the kind of, I don't know if you call it a belt, but this section here does seem to be not exactly the same, but quite similar. The codpiece, I guess you'd call it, that does seem to be the same too, although these straps are not on the original. These, what do you call them, thigh guards possibly, they do seem very similar as well. Slightly different, just slightly. And then the knee and shin guards are also very similar between these two. So some slight differences here and there, but definitely very, very similar as far as their armor goes. Shoulder armor section here, and it's definitely the same as on the P1. However, the gauntlet here with the wrist blades, that is a totally different design to what the Elder has on here, as is the gauntlet on this side. That basically looks like the Predator 2 one, but with strapping around it, because that bit is the same as P2 where it lifts up and shoots out a projectile, whereas the P1, he's obviously got his self-destruct and all kinds of other thing. I can't remember whether this lifts off on the NECA piece. It probably does. But yeah, thank you NECA Predator for helping out with that. Right, so I've just got the Winston effect book here. Thanks again to Anthony Sang for the awesome gift here. And where does it say? Now, it's referring to this image here of the Elder Predator's mask headpiece. And it says, Final Greyback Predator. The design was based on the original Predator, but embellished with different colored jewelry and bony protrusions. So, yeah, definitely is based on the original Predator, which is just something really, really cool about this piece. So that will make it even more awesome when Hot Toys do an updated version of the original Predator, to have them standing side by side together, the young version, and kind of in theory the older version, if he hadn't have self-destructed on Earth. Now again, using the Winston effect book as our visual guide here for accuracy, that is the finished head of the greyback for Predator 2, and we can clearly see it's in a well lit room, and we can see that it's very pale around the mouth area, not quite white, but it's verging on more white than anything else. And the actual Hot Toys figure, just focus, it's absolutely more of a kind of sandy yellow color scheme here than the pale color that we see on the actual piece. But who knows, it is nighttime again that I'm filming this and the LED lights are shining right in his face, but maybe in the daylight, the natural light, we'd see a different tone altogether. But I'm certainly seeing, like I said, more of a kind of yellowy orange sandish kind of color to his skin. But absolutely phenomenal work altogether. Really like the eyes, the work they do on the teeth, mandibles, the mouth. No removable mandibles, no interchangeable mandibles, and no mask for this Predator. He just comes with this face, this expression, and that's it. But in the movie he didn't have a mask, and it might have been nice to get interchangeable mandibles, but for whatever reason on this release they just stuck with this one look. And it's weird because you can see the seams of where these mouth pieces, the mandibles, do slot in. But I guess they're glued in place. Why not just, if it's a new sculpt and you knew you weren't going to be given any other mandibles, why not just have it as one complete seamless head? It's a bit of a, another head scratcher. You got to wonder what was the reasoning for that. Great accessories with this guy though, man. There's the legendary flintlock pistol. There's metal wrist blades, gauntlet blades. There's little necklaces and trinkets and bones. And his, now what would you call that? I hesitate to give this weapon a name because I know I'm going to mess that up. It might say in the instruction books, so I'll have a look at that. It does come with that too. That is not metal, that is plastic. And the plastic pistol, but the metal wrist blades, which is always welcome. Watch out for them because they are sharp. The old school Hot Toys base serves this figure well. Great paint scheme, great paint apps on his body. Really nicely done. Get a good look at the back, and lovely armor. Again, very, very, very similar to the original Predator 1 armor, which I like. And this little accessory here, he's got like a little pouch covered by what looks like fingers, skeletal fingers, and he does have a material section here rather than plastic like on the Wolf Predator, the more recent Predator. That was all kind of soft plastic, but this is actually material. If you call it a sword that he's holding in that hand, then this would be its sheath. that's resting on the back here. You've got kind of a skull, and I don't remember. Yeah, I think that was actually, sometimes I think maybe I did that to cover a joint, but I think that's actually one that came with Elder Predator here. I didn't do that myself yet with this arm. I always keep this elbow bent to kind of hide the joint because I don't like to see it. It is such a realistic, for what it is, a very seamless and real looking piece. So I don't like to see elbow joints, so I may cover that up at some point, quite simply with a bit of raggy old leathery brown material or something. But yeah, fantastic piece from head to toe. I love the detail on his dreads and all of the little bits and pieces that are attached to them. The dreads themselves, like a kind of, I don't know, it's because he's older that they sort of go pale and blue. They've got these kind of little black blotches all over them. It's quite interesting. Maybe it's just something that happens with age. But there is a slight bit of a Pirates of the Caribbean vibe here, but then again, he was, his history does involve pirates. That's where we got the flintlock pistol. Like I said, again, just YouTube Elder Predator explained, and you'll get a nice bit of backstory on this guy, and it is quite interesting to hear about. Let's see if I can remove this. Yeah, beautiful work on this. Gosh, I can't really see what that says right now. There is a name on there with 1715, I believe. My vision is not as good as it used to be. That's becoming more and more evident every day. But yeah, great little accessory there. Had to be done, really. They couldn't not give you this with the Elder. But speaking of accessories, you do get some good hands with this one, which I couldn't say for the Wolf Predator that was recently released. He only came with 4 hands, and they're just not very exciting at all. But at least the Elder comes with some open splayed hands. So let's see what we can do with those. This hand here, which kind of has like a pointing finger, or maybe a finger for messing around with his gauntlet, but then again, he doesn't have that kind of self-destruct / operations section on his arm here for handling. Well, he did have a cloaking device because they all turned invisible. So I don't know where his one is located, because most of them tend to touch something on the gauntlet here, and then their invisibility, the cloak, becomes operational. But anyway, they give you this coin. It's either a come hither or a you, pointing at you, or either touching buttons and stuff like that. But it's better than not getting it. I mean, I'm certainly glad you get more options when it comes to the hands. And then you've just got this kind of cool clenched Predator hand, which I do love. The way with Predators, the way it looks like this when the thumb sticks out like that, always reminds me of when, I think it's Predator 2, when he's mixing his stuff to heal himself and he's crunching it in his hands, and you can big close up of his hand, and his thumb sticking out like that with the nails. So very accurate, nice attention to detail, and even down to that little kind of bony kind of claw sticking out there from the bottom of his hand there. Interesting. I don't think I've ever actually noticed that before. It's pretty cool. Now, this little thingy here is actually for taking 3 of his dreadlocks and using this to kind of pinch 3 dreadlocks together like that. And it shows you how to do it in the instructions. I tried to do it once, but it was a very tight squeeze to get 3... Whoop, there it goes. Very tight squeeze to get 3 dreadlocks into there, and I didn't want to risk, rubbing the paint off these, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna not put that on there. So I've never put that on, so I just tend to keep it in its accessory bag and not use it. But yeah, you get the 2 removable metal wrist blades. Is, for lack of a better, more accurate explanation, a sword. You get that too. You get the flintlock pistol, 2 open hands, 1 kind of pointing finger hand, and 1 closed fist, plus the hands that are on him right now, which is the weapon holding hand for his left hand side and a clenched fist for his right hand side. Now let's just get a look at the Elder Predator next to the most recently released Predator by Hot Toys, and that is the Wolf, the heavy weaponry version. This is the 3rd attempt by Hot Toys at the Wolf Predator from AVPR, and an absolutely fine looking piece it is. Actually quite stunning, to be honest. I really do love the figure, despite the issues I had with it during the review, which is still there, but you know, the pros definitely outweigh the cons with this one. There's no doubt about that. So, there you go, side by side. The wolf is standing on a slightly, well, actually, they're pretty much level with each other. So it looks like the wolf is ever so slightly taller, but he does have a higher sort of crown or head, whatever you'd call it. You know, this whole top section here is definitely more elongated than this one. But that is accurate because, again, this is basically the original 87 Predator, and that was the shape of his head. And the wolf, totally different design. But yeah, I mean, you know, they give things and then they take them away. Some Predators have interchangeable mandibles, other ones don't. You know, other stuff like that. Sometimes certain weaponry will be made of, you know, die-cast metal. Other times something you expect to be die-cast metal will be plastic, like this here. You really would think that would be metal, but it's actually plastic. But then his gauntlet blades and these gauntlet blades are very much metal, just as dangerous as that right there. And I don't know, reasons. But there you go. Maybe we'll bring in the City Hunter just to round things off. Alright, and there's all three of my current Predator 1/6 scale figures in the collection, all standing together. Now, just yesterday I loaded a new review on this piece, the City Hunter. Again, I had reviewed that in the past, but the filming techniques were not up to scratch. So I hope you enjoy these more updated, revised reviews. But that's all three standing together, and they are fantastic. I just hope Hot Toys do give us an updated version of the original Predator in 1/6 scale really soon. They even said they were going to be doing it in 1/4 scale, but there's been no word on that in years. But fingers crossed for that 1/6 scale OG Pred. So my final thoughts, the Elder Predator here is an absolutely fantastic piece. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Absolutely essential if you're a Predator fan. I know he can be hard to get hold of these days. I was lucky I got in there right at a point in time where he was still pretty easy to get hold of. I believe it was Anthony Sang who picked up the Elder and the City Hunter for me. So massive shout out again to Mr. Sang out there in Hong Kong. But an absolutely phenomenal figure, even with these slight inaccuracies with the color scheme on his face like we saw in the Winston Effect book. I am still absolutely in love with this figure. And I had to have it, and I'm so glad, because the original Elder Predator by Hot Toys was such an elusive piece. Very expensive. Haven't actually checked to see how much this new version of the Elder goes for on eBay, but I might have a look at that, you know, soon and see what the situation is. But I would absolutely, definitely 100% recommend him. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of re-revised review. A few more coming, and plenty of stuff on the way to the channel, so keep it locked. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram at DKnight333. Become a patron if you want. Help the channel keep tooting along. Appreciate all you guys out there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.